Beneath the misted edges of the South China Sea, a city of glass, stone, and spirit rises. This is Hong Kong. High atop the tallest peak, silent sentinels scan the skies, a blend of nature's majesty and mankind's watchful eye. Through mist and memory, the red tram climbs, a century-old journey with the city at its feet. Far from the bustle, a stillness lingers, a harbor at peace as the day exhales. Where the jungle meets the sea, hidden coves bloom in hues of jade, secret, sunlit, serene. Sze Wan Beach. Here, the sea kisses the forest's edge while quiet villas dream above the tide. Tiny boats scatter like petals across the jade shallows, anchored in stillness and salt air. Between rocky fingers and blue-tiled rooftops, the land leans gently into the sea. The hillside village gazes out over calm waters, wrapped in the hush of mid-morning light. Paddleboards drift like whispers over green glass, carried by nothing but rhythm and breeze. In this sheltered cove, floating farms and fishing boats weave a slow, enduring harmony with the sea. Tian Tan Buddha. Beneath the gaze of the mountain giant, time moves with reverence. From above, the Buddha blooms like a lotus in a sea of green. Cradled by forest, the great bronze figure sits in silent meditation. A path unfolds through the forest, each step a quiet pilgrimage. Rising from the treetops, a gesture of peace meets the sky. Up the stone steps they climb, drawn to something far older than words. In stillness, his eyes speak of compassion that does not age. Lantau Island. Where green hills cradle a crescent bay, time drifts softly on the tide. Suspended between mountain and sea, the journey floats through dusk like a whispered prayer. Beneath brooding skies, the ancient path winds through silence and pine. High above the forest, the big Buddha gazes through clouds, watching centuries pass. Here at the edge of the island, life hums quietly between pastel walls and painted boats. From above, the harbor unfurls like a living map, a rhythm of arrivals and departures. Twin shores embrace a village shaped by sea breeze and slow afternoons. At water's edge, boats rest on golden sand, waiting for the tide to call them home. Tung Lung Chau. Where manicured fairways meet the endless blue, serenity plays its quiet game. Each step along the ridge lifts you higher until land falls away into a sea of floating stones. The island's raw skin meets the ocean's breath, sculpting wild edges with every wave. Here, the sea thrashes like a memory it can't forget. In this quiet cove, time settles into stone and sun. Campers trace the edge of the earth, watched over by a sentinel of light. Even in the haze, this light endures, anchored in solitude, guiding without sound. The sea writes endless verses against this broken shore, and each one fades into silence. Paths worn by wonder, wandering toward the cliff's quiet call. As the sun slips behind Tung Lung's quiet hills, silence washes over a forgotten edge of the sea. A narrow path winds through the wild green, where cliffs remember storms older than memory. Tucked between stone walls and shifting tides, this hidden inlet cradles the hush of the South China Sea. Where the sea folds gently into shore, the island opens like a forgotten dream. Waves hammer the ancient stones, speaking a language older than time. Here, on the edge of the island, strangers become a quiet tribe beneath canvas and sky. Beneath the open sky, a patchwork of tents gathers where land meets legend. Victoria Harbor. Where water meets steel, the old ferry whispers through a city forever becoming. The harbor breathes in light and motion, a living pulse between mountain and machine. At the edge of the day, the sea turns to fire, and silence drifts on the tide. From the island's heart, a silver tower watches the light fade over centuries of change. Beneath the mountain's quiet gaze, the harbor dances in 1,000 neon voices. Here, nightfall is not an ending, but a symphony of light dreaming skyward. Crowned in steel and glass, this city dares to reach beyond the clouds. The harbor wakes slowly as sunlight sketches serenity on the city's face. Reflections ripple like memories, fleeting, vibrant, and impossibly alive. Every window tells a story, every light a moment suspended between land and sea. Beneath drifting clouds, the skyline rises with quiet confidence over a harbor that never sleeps. In the hush of evening, the boats wait like poems paused between the tides. Where old rhythms meet new ambitions, the shoreline carries the soul of a city in transition. A maze of lives, concrete and glass, and always the road curves toward the sea. Taimo Shan. Winding like a ribbon through a sea of green, the road to Tai Mo Shan invites the quiet pulse of adventure. Above the haze and hum of the city, the radar station stands, watchful, still, and alone in the sky. A long golden trail traces the ridge, where footsteps drift between forest and cloud. Stone by stone, the old mountain path climbs through silence, as if carved by time itself. In the glow of the last light, Taimo Shan watches over the forest, cloaked in a warm hush. Beneath drifting clouds, the city flickers like a distant dream, half real, half remembered. The mountain rises in deep green layers, a cathedral of leaves beneath a sky of soft blue. Steel and signal pierce the sky, man's quiet instruments amidst a wilderness of ridgelines. As dusk settles, Taimo Shan floats above the low clouds, like a sentinel lost in a sea of mist. At the edge of the world, bathed in gold, people gather to watch the sun kiss the sea. From above, the mountain folds into a living map, its curves etched by time and wind. Silent and commanding, the radar towers rise like guardians, listening to the breath of the sky. Clouds spill over the ridges like whispers, cloaking the forest in drifting thought. Layer upon layer, the land dissolves into haze, as if the world itself is dreaming. Hidden behind fences and stone, the mountain's summit hums with quiet purpose. Under layered skies, steel and signal bloom like strange flowers on the windswept peak. From above, a single red figure rides the mountain's pulse, small, steady, and free. Morning spills through the canopy, tracing curves of asphalt lost in the woods. Highland Reservoir. Above the quiet reservoir, geometry meets the sea, where stone and ocean hold a silent conversation. A wooden path winds past ancient cliffs, leading gently toward the fortress of water and time. Wild cattle graze freely beneath soft hills, where nature still writes its own rules. The reservoir stretches like a sleeping dragon, its body wrapped in mist and memory. Layer upon layer of ridges dissolve into haze, where land and sky blur in gentle conversation. Amid the folds of green, quiet villages nestle, small sentinels keeping watch over the hills. Even the dam breathes here, its concrete skin softened by wind, rain, and stubborn life. Jade waters cradle the coastline, where boats drift like whispers on a blue silk tapestry. A trail climbs toward the sky, each step a quiet echo on the edge of the world. Where emerald waters meet ancient stone, the land opens its arms to the sea. A labyrinth of turquoise veins flows between green hills, connecting the wild to the still. The trail winds like a forgotten story etched into the spine of the hills. Basalt pillars rise like ancient relics, carved by fire and softened by tide. At golden hour, a lone cyclist glides between land and sea, small against the vastness. The water turns to silk at dusk, and the mountains dissolve into whispers. A ribbon of road hugs the cliffs, catching the last breath of sun before night falls. Beneath a softening sky, the dam curls like a quiet promise between ocean and hill. Victoria Peak. From Victoria Peak, the city unfolds like a living mosaic between mountain and sea. As daylight fades, the skyline blushes under a sky heavy with gold and memory. Concrete forests rise from green hills, each window flickering with a life of its own. Below, the harbor hums with movement, where past and future drift on shared waters. When night descends, Victoria Harbor becomes a river of light, threading the city's heart. Ships drift through the dusk like thoughts across a quiet mind. Stacked high like chapters of a story, the city leans into the night. Mist clings to the summit, where steel antennas whisper into the clouds. In the silence of midnight, the city pulses faintly, dreaming in blue. Where the forested slope meets the skyline, nature and ambition hold each other in quiet balance. Across the harbor, towers gleam like sentinels of commerce, rooted in centuries of exchange. As the sun slips behind the peaks, the city glows with the hush of ending day. Beneath a velvet sky, Hong Kong pulses in neon rhythm, a city that never sleeps, only shifts. From the sky, the harbor breathes, vessels gliding like whispers between glass and sea. Tai O Fishing Village. Tin-roofed homes gather like driftwood along jade canals, where time floats gently by. Between river and hill, Taio unfolds like a living tapestry, woven with salt, stories, and sea air. At the mouth of the village, the world softens, where green waters meet the open sea in quiet farewell. Fishing boats rest like brushstrokes on an emerald canvas as the mountains hold their silent watch. Here, the village breathes between forest and peak, held in the cradle of Lantau's ancient hills. Footpaths wind like memories through tin rooftops and tide-worn planks, where every boat has a name. Orange boat, green canopy, gliding past stilts and silence, carrying visitors into the village's slow heart. Seen from above, Taio is a maze of silver rooftops and quiet dreams anchored to muddy banks. The tide creeps through the village like a whispered legend, threading the past into the present. In the market's narrow shade, even the blowfish grin, silent, spiky souvenirs of the sea. At night, a trail of lanterns threads through the dark like an ancient story still being told. Mountains rise like sleeping giants as boats carve soft ripples into the last light of day. From above, the ferry floats like a painted leaf, moored among rooftops and quiet crossings.